On a warm August night, a car stopped outside a house in Antigo, Wisconsin. 16-year-old Kayla Berg stepped out and walked toward the door. The driver pulled away, but inside that house, there was no one waiting for her. That single detail changes everything. She was not dropped at a party, not at a friend's crowded house. She was dropped at an address where the person she expected to see was not home. Then her phone went silent, and 16 years later, no one can explain where she went next. If you want more real source-backed investigations like this, subscribe to Frond and turn on notifications. It's free, and it helps us keep making these deep dives. This is the story of a 16-year-old girl from Antigo, Wisconsin, who disappeared on August 11, 2009, and has never been found. Antigo, Wisconsin, a small city of roughly 8,000 people in Langlade County, set among the lakes and forests of northern Wisconsin. It is the kind of place where most people know most other people, which made what happened there in August 2009 all the more difficult to understand. Kayla Berg was 16 years old in the summer of 2009. She stood 5 feet 6 inches tall, had brown hair, blue eyes, and was known among people who knew her as energetic, social, and close to her family. Kayla lived with her family in Antigo. Her mother, Hope Berg, has described her as a typical teenager, sometimes difficult, always loved, always expected home. The summer of 2009 was supposed to be an ordinary one. August 11, 2009, a Tuesday in the last weeks of summer before a new school year would begin. Kayla was seen by family members earlier in the day. She left in the evening with a male acquaintance. According to the person who drove her, Kayla was dropped off at a house on 5th Avenue in Antigo that evening. She stepped out of the vehicle, walked toward the house, and he drove away. That was by all accounts the last time anyone confirmed seeing her alive. Here is where the story becomes harder to follow. Investigators later determined that whoever Kayla was intending to visit at that address was not home at the time she was dropped off. The house was, for that moment, empty. Between when she stepped out of that vehicle and when her family realized she was missing, there is a gap investigators have never been able to fill. What happened in that gap is the entire mystery. Kayla did not come home that night. For a teenager who had sometimes stayed out, it wasn't immediately alarming. But when she hadn't returned by the following morning, her family began to worry. Kayla was reported missing to Antigo police on August 12, 2009, the day after she disappeared. The search for her began immediately. Police immediately began speaking with the man who had dropped her off. His account placed her at the 5th Avenue address. Investigators confirmed he brought her there. What they could not confirm was what happened afterward. Officers canvassed the 5th Avenue address and the surrounding neighborhood, speaking with residents about whether they had seen Kayla or anyone else that evening. No one had. The last confirmed sighting of Kayla Berg was on the evening of August 11, 2009. She was wearing jeans, a red spaghetti strap top, and a white sweater. She was carrying no known belongings beyond what she wore. Early in the investigation, police looked closely at a former boyfriend of Kayla's. He was interviewed multiple times over the following weeks. He has maintained he had nothing to do with her disappearance. He has never been charged. Over the years, several people have been looked at by investigators. None have been arrested. None have been publicly named as suspects. The case remains, officially, a missing persons investigation. One of the clearest indicators that something went wrong immediately was her phone. After the evening of August 11th, there was no further call or text activity associated with Kayla. Her phone went silent at the same time she did. Within days of her disappearance, the community organized volunteer search parties. They covered the forests, fields, and roadsides around Antigo, an area the Wisconsin wilderness makes vast and difficult. Langlade County encompasses nearly 900 square miles of mixed forest and lake country. If Kayla was taken into that wilderness, investigators have always acknowledged the terrain alone could hide almost anything indefinitely. Despite extensive searches, police recovered no physical evidence connected to Kayla. No clothing, no personal items, no forensic trace. The searches ended without a single object that confirmed what had happened to her. The Antigo Police Department brought in the Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation to assist with the case, giving it additional resources and fresh analytical perspective. Unlike many missing persons cases, investigators in Kayla's disappearance have very little physical evidence to build from. What they have is a timeline, one confirmed drop-off point, and phone records that stop abruptly. From the first day, Kayla's mother, Hope Berg, has been the relentless center of the search. She has organized tip lines, attended every public forum she could reach, and personally followed up on leads for 16 years. In the years that followed, the Langlade County tip line received hundreds of calls about Kayla. Each one required follow-up. Some seemed promising. None led to a confirmed breakthrough. For years, the case was classified officially as a missing persons case, rather than a homicide investigation. In Wisconsin, without a body or direct evidence of a crime, investigators are constrained in what resources they can formally dedicate. In subsequent years, police returned to areas near Antigo to conduct new searches using cadaver dogs, ground-penetrating radar, and aerial surveys. None returned a confirmed find. In 2019, on the 10th anniversary of Kayla's disappearance, the case received national attention when NBC's Dateline profiled it, bringing her story to an audience far beyond Wisconsin and generating a new wave of tips. By the 10th anniversary of her disappearance in 2019, no arrest had been made, no body had been found, and no person of interest had been publicly named. The case remained classified as a missing persons investigation. On the 10th anniversary, Hope Berg gave interviews in which she described what 10 years of not knowing feels like. She said the not knowing was harder than any answer would be, even a terrible one. Kayla's listing with the Wisconsin Department of Justice Missing Persons Clearinghouse has remained active and updated since 2009. It remains one of Wisconsin's longest-running active missing persons cases. While the official classification is missing persons, investigators who have spoken publicly over the years have indicated they believe foul play was almost certainly involved. They have stopped short of confirming this officially. Missing persons cases without physical evidence are among the hardest to prosecute, even when investigators believe they know what happened. Without a body, a crime scene, or a forensic trace, the legal standard for charges is almost impossible to meet. Every summer, particularly around the anniversary of her disappearance in August, search efforts have been renewed. Volunteers and investigators return to the woods, the fields, and the roadsides of Langlade County to keep looking. In Antigo and the wider Langlade County area, Kayla Berg has not been forgotten. Her name comes up every August. Her mother's continued public presence keeps the case alive in local conversation. Kayla was born on May 27, 1993. Every year since 2009, her birthday has passed without her. She would be 32 years old today. Her mother has marked every single one. In recent years, investigators have applied newer forensic and digital technology to the available evidence, reanalyzing phone records, revisiting geographic data, and working with specialists in missing persons cold cases. August 2025 marked 16 years since Kayla vanished. Local news outlets returned to the story. Hope Berg gave interviews again. Investigators confirmed the case was still active and still being worked. In interviews marking the 16th anniversary, Hope Berg said she still checks the tip line regularly herself. She said she does not believe Kayla is alive, but she will not stop searching for answers and will not stop until someone tells her what happened to her daughter. 16 years of searching carries a cost that goes beyond the financial. It is 16 years of holidays marked by absence, of milestones watched without her, of a family shaped permanently by something they cannot resolve. If Kayla were alive today, she would be 32 years old. She might have a career, a family of her own, a life that branched in 100 directions from the person she was at 16. Investigators have said consistently that they believe someone in or near Antigo knows what happened to Kayla. That person may have been afraid to come forward in 2009. 16 years change circumstances. People move, relationships end, and the weight of carrying a secret grows. The Langlade County Tip Line and the Wisconsin Department of Justice are asking for any information about Kayla's whereabouts on the night of August 11, 2009, or about any conversations someone may have had since that suggests knowledge of what happened to her. Cases like Kayla's carry a particular kind of weight, the kind that doesn't diminish with time the way grief is sometimes supposed to. For her family, every unanswered question is also an unanswered year. Kayla is not alone in Wisconsin's missing persons files. The state maintains hundreds of active listings. Hers is among the longest running without resolution and remains one of the most actively publicized. Every August 11th, the anniversary comes back around. A warm summer night, a quiet street, a car pulling away. And then, 16 years of nothing that explains what came next. She was last seen wearing jeans, a red spaghetti strap top, and a white sweater. Investigators have asked, for 16 years, for anyone who saw those clothes that night to come forward. Anyone with information about Kayla Berg's disappearance is asked to contact the Antigo Police Department, the Langlade County Sheriff's Office, or the Wisconsin Department of Justice tip line. Tips can be submitted anonymously. The single most effective thing any viewer can do is share this video. Tips in cold cases most commonly come from someone who saw something and assumed it didn't matter, or who was afraid at the time. New attention brings new people into the conversation. If you have any information about Kayla Berg, please contact the Antigo Police Department or the Wisconsin DOJ tip line. Tips can be made anonymously. A reward may be available for information leading to resolution. Somewhere in Wisconsin, someone went to sleep on the night of August 11, 2009, knowing what had happened to Kayla Berg. In the 16 years since, they have not spoken. She stepped out of that car. She walked toward a house. The car drove away. Those three facts are all investigators have confirmed about the last minutes of Kayla Berg's visible life. 3 facts, and 16 years of silence after them. Where is Kayla Berg? It is the simplest possible question. It has been asked for 16 years by a mother, by investigators, by a community, and by anyone who has ever heard this story. It does not yet have an answer. In her most recent public statements, Hope Berg has said she does not sleep well on August 11th. She said she never has, and she said she won't until the day someone finally tells her what happened to her daughter on that night. For investigators, a resolution in this case would most likely begin with a tip, someone who knows something finally choosing to say it. Cases this old rarely break from new evidence. They break from people. In cold cases, investigators frequently point to the same pattern. The break comes from one person, one call, one piece of information that unlocks everything else. The tip that solves a case is often already out there, waiting in someone's memory. Antigo continues as it always has. The lakes, the forests, the ordinary pace of a small northern Wisconsin city. But in some homes there, the evening of August 11, 2009 has never quite ended. 16 summers have come and gone since Kayla Berg walked toward a house on 5th Avenue. The grass has grown and been cut again 16 times. The leaves have turned 16 times. And still, nothing. Kayla was 5 feet 6 inches tall, around 120 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes, last seen in jeans and a red spaghetti strap top with a white sweater. Those details have not changed. If you saw her that night, investigators still want to hear from you. Somewhere on a quiet Wisconsin street, on a warm August evening in 2009, a 16-year-old girl stepped out of a car and walked toward a house. She never came back, and whoever watched it happen has been silent ever since. Kayla Mae Berg, born May 27, 1993. Last seen August 11, 2009, in Antigo, Wisconsin. 16 years missing. The case remains active and open. The forests of Langlade County still stretch for hundreds of miles in every direction from Antigo. They have been searched. They have been searched again. They have not yet given up what, if anything, they are keeping. Hope Berg has said one thing consistently across 16 years of interviews. She is not asking for justice. She is asking for the truth. Those are different requests, she has noted, and right now she would accept either. The person who knows what happened to Kayla Berg may have moved away from Wisconsin long ago. They may be living somewhere entirely different today. What keeps cases like this alive, and what eventually breaks them, is that a video like this one keeps reaching new people. A 16-year-old girl was dropped at a house in a small Wisconsin town one August evening in 2009. She has never been seen since. Someone knows why. The street lamp on 5th Avenue still comes on every night at dusk. It has done so for 16 years. One night, maybe soon, the call that ends this will come in. Hope Berg will be waiting. August 11, 2009. Kayla Berg stepped out of a car. The car drove away. The street went quiet. And the silence that followed has lasted 16 years and is still going. If you grew up in Antigo, if you knew Kayla, if you knew someone who acted strangely around the time she disappeared, or if you have ever heard anything that made you wonder, please call. It may be the most important call you ever make. Hope Berg has said she doesn't need everyone to solve this case. She needs one person who knows something and hasn't said it yet, to finally say it. DNA databases solve the boy in the box. Surveillance footage keeps Missy Bevers alive in the public conversation. For Kayla Berg, the only path forward runs through a person, someone who was there, or who was told, and who has never spoken. Somewhere in Wisconsin tonight, The same summer air that moved through Antigo on August 11, 2009, is still moving. The lakes still sit under the same sky, and somewhere in all of it, an answer nobody has yet spoken out loud is waiting. Kayla Berg. Born May 27, 1993. Last seen August 11, 2009. She was 16 years old. She was from Antigo, Wisconsin. She has been missing for 16 years, and her mother has never stopped looking. She stepped out of a car one August night and walked toward a house. The street lamp came on. The car drove away. The night went quiet, and it has stayed that way ever since. The Antigo Police Department tip line for Kayla Berg's case has been active for 16 years and remains open. The Wisconsin Department of Justice missing persons listing is updated and active. The case has never been officially closed. The house on 5th Avenue in Antigo still stands. It is an ordinary house on an ordinary street. Nothing about it would tell you what may have happened nearby one August evening 16 years ago. That is perhaps the most unsettling thing about it. In a home in Wisconsin, a light stays on. It has stayed on for 16 years. It will stay on until there is an answer. That is what a mother does when her daughter is missing. She keeps the light on and she keeps asking. Sources for this investigation are in the description, from the Wisconsin Department of Justice official listing and Antigo Police Department statements to NBC Dateline coverage and local Wisconsin news reports spanning 16 years. Everything you saw is drawn from the public record. If this investigation kept you watching, hit the like button, subscribe to Frond, and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. And if you know anything about Kayla Berg, please make the call. We'll see you in the next one.